Published 2117 est. The 21st of November 2017. Updated 0628 est. The 22nd of November 2017. David Cassidy, the teen and preteen idol who starred in the 1970s sitcom The Partridge Family and sold millions of records as the L Group's lead singer, died Tuesday at age 67. Cassidy, who announced earlier this year that he had been diagnosed with dementia, died surrounded by his family. A family statement released by publicist JoAnn Geffen said, no further details were immediately available, but Geffen said on Saturday that Cassidy was in a Fort Lauderdale, Florida, hospital suffering from organ failure, a symptom of dementia. David died surrounded by those he loved, with joy in his heart and free from the pain that had gripped him for so long, the statement said. Scroll down for video. David Cassidy, the teen and preteen idol who starred in the 1970s sitcom The Partridge Family and sold millions of records as the L Group's lead singer, died Tuesday at age 67. Thank you for the abundance and support you have shown him these many years. Cassidy had been on life support since Monday, according to TMZ. Doctors told the family that his only hope for survival was to undergo a liver transplant, but this was quickly ruled out since he would not have been able to withstand the surgery. At around noon on Tuesday, the family decided to remove Cassidy from life support. Cassidy's family was on hand to bid him farewell, including his brothers Sean, Patrick and Ryan, his children Beau and Katie, and nephews, and his ex-wife Sue Cassidy. The Partridge Family aired from 197,074 and was a fictional variation of the 60s performers The Cowsills, intended at first as a vehicle for Shirley Jones, the Oscar-winning actress and Cassidy's stepmother. Jones played Shirley Partridge, a widow with 5 children with whom she forms a popular act that travels on a psychedelic bus. The cast also featured Cassidy as eldest son and family heartthrob Keith Partridge, Susan Day, later of LA Law fame, as sibling Lori Partridge, and Danny Bonaducci as sibling Danny Partridge. It was an era for singing families: the Osmonds, the Jacksons. The Partridge Family never cracked the top 10 in TV ratings, but the recordings under their name, mostly featuring Cassidy, Jones and session players, produced real-life L hits and made Cassidy a real-life L superstar. The 67-year-old Partridge Family star and singer was rushed to hospital in Florida 3 days ago, and his condition was said to be grim. I'm very sad to hear about David Cassidy, tweeted Beach Boys legend Brian Wilson, because his stardom was launched from a TV show much like the Monkees. Many overlooked just how hugely popular David Cassidy was as a singer in the early 70s. MSNBC Morning Joe host Joe Scarborough tweeted, so sad to hear of the passing of David Cassidy. Harry Connick Jr. tweeted, he was always so kind to me, such a pleasure to have had him on my show, sending love and prayers to his family. R.I.P. Friend. Farewell David Cassidy. For some of us that travel the broad highway, it's just like that sometimes. May you rest in peace, brother, tweeted Lol Tolhurst, founding member of The Cure. My thoughts and prayers are with the family and loved ones of David Cassidy, disco-era singing star. Gloria Gaynor tweeted on Tuesday. Television host Larry King also paid tribute to Cassidy on his Twitter account on Tuesday. So sorry to hear about David Cassidy's passing, tweeted Rick Springfield. Godspeed, rest in peace, David Cassidy. Actress Alyssa Milano tweeted on Tuesday. Former TV star Tom Arnold tweeted, rip David Cassidy, who my age did not want to look like, just be him when they were young. I was lucky to get to know the sweet, very funny, real David as an adult. I still wanted to be him. Filmmaker Kevin Smith tweeted, I grew up in an era before even cable TV, when the Partridge Family was already in reruns. David Cassidy's Keith was one of my favorite TV characters. He was legit funny and he could sing. The man entertained me during my childhood and even years later. You were so sweet to me and you left us too soon. Oscar-winning actress Marlee Matlin tweeted, to me and millions of us you were forever young. RIP. David Cassidy's nephew, Jack Cassidy, also tweeted on Tuesday, paying homage to his late uncle. My heart is hurting, tweeted actress Alexa Vega. You were an amazing TV daddy, proud and honored to have worked with one of the best. Love and prayers. Heartbroken over the passing of David Cassidy, tweeted Marie Osmond. He graced the covers of teen magazines with My Brothers in the 70s. My condolences to his family. My first crush was David Cassidy, Daily Show co-creator Liz Winstead tweeted. RIP David Cassidy, the man who made me feel a certain way I could not explain, and felt I should ask my mom about. So very sad to hear of David Cassidy passing away, tweeted actress Maureen McCormick, who played Marcia Brady on The Brady Bunch. The Partridges' best known, I Think I Love You, spent 3 weeks on top of the Billboard chart at a time when other hit singles included James Taylor's Fire and Rain and Smokey Robinson and The Miracles' The Tears of a Clown. The group also reached the top 10 with I'll Meet You Halfway and Doesn't Somebody Want to Be Wanted, and Cassidy had a solo hit with Cherish. In 2 years, David Cassidy has swept hurricane-like into the prepubescent lives of millions of American girls, Rolling Stone magazine noted in 1972, leaving 6.5 million long-playing albums and singles, 44 television programs, David Cassidy lunchboxes, David Cassidy bubblegum, David Cassidy coloring books, and David Cassidy pens, not to mention several millions of teen magazines, wall stickers, love beads, posters, and photo albums. Cassidy's appeal faded after the show went off the air, although he continued to tour, record, and act over the next 40 years. His albums, including Romance and the awkwardly titled Didn't You Used to Be, he had a hit with I Write the Songs before Barry Manilow's chart-topping version, and success overseas with The Last Kiss, featuring backing vocals from Cassidy admirer George Michael. He made occasional stage and television appearances, including an Emmy-nominated performance on Police Story. Meanwhile, the Partridge Family remained popular in reruns, and Cassidy, who kept his dark bangs and boyish appearance well into middle age, frequently turned up for reunions and spoke often about his early success. "So many people come up to me and talk to me about the impact that the show had," he told Arsenio Hall in 1990. Even while the Partridge Family was still in prime time, Cassidy worried that he was mistaken for the wholesome character he played. He posed naked for Rolling Stone in 1972, when he confided that he had dropped acid as a teenager and smoked pot in front of the magazine's reporter. As he edited of the Partridge Family and mocked his own acting, Cassidy maintained an exhausting schedule during the show's run, filming during the week and performing live shows over the weekend, but had plenty of time to indulge himself. Katie Cassidy and David Cassidy are seen above arriving at the 9th Annual Family Television Awards held at the Beverly Hilton Hotel on November 28, 2007 in Los Angeles. David Cassidy acknowledged that he and his daughter had a distant relationship in the memoir Could It Be Forever. He wrote of his prolific life and of rejecting Day's advances because she lacked the slutty aspect of a female that I always found so attractive. Cassidy would endure personal and financial troubles. He was married and divorced 3 times, battled alcoholism, was arrested for drunk driving, and in 2015 filed for bankruptcy. Cassidy had 2 children, Ian Bo Cassidy and actress Katie Cassidy, with whom he acknowledged having a distant relationship. "I wasn't her father. I was her biological father, but I didn't raise her," he told People magazine in 2017. "She has a completely different life." Cassidy himself was estranged from his father. Born in New York City in 1950, he was the son of actors Jack Cassidy and Evelyn Ward and half-brother of entertainer Sean Cassidy. David Cassidy's parents split up when he was 5, and he would long express regret about Jack Cassidy, who soon married Shirley Jones, being mostly absent from his life. David Cassidy stayed with his mother and by the early 1960s had moved to Los Angeles. Kicked out of high school for truancy, David Cassidy dreamed of becoming an actor and had made appearances on Bonanza, Ironside, and other programs before producers at ABC Television asked him to audition for the Partridge Family, unaware that he could sing and intending at first to have him mime to someone else's voice. Cassidy, who only learned during tryouts that Jones would play his mother, worried that Keith Partridge would be a real come-down from his previous roles. "I mean, how much could an actor do with a line like, 'Hi, Mom, I'm home from school,' or 'Please pass the milk'," he wrote in his memoir. In this August 27, 2009, file photo, David Cassidy reacts to the crowd after singing the national anthem before a baseball game between the Boston Red Sox and Chicago White Sox at Fenway Park in Boston. "He didn't see how it could do much for me. After all, I wasn't the star of it. Shirley had top billing, I was just one of the kids." Tributes began pouring in for Cassidy on Tuesday evening. "I'm very sad to hear about David Cassidy," tweeted Beach Boys legend Brian Wilson. "There were times in the mid-1970s when he would come over to my house and we even started writing it together. He was a very talented and nice person. Love Mercy to David and his family." Because his stardom was launched from a TV show much like The Monkees, many overlooked just how hugely popular David Cassidy was as a singer in the early 70s. MSNBC Morning Joe host Joe Scarborough tweeted, "A sad decline. So sad to hear of the passing of David Cassidy." Harry Connick Jr. tweeted, "He was always so kind to me. Such a pleasure to have had him on my show. Sending love and prayers to his family. R.I.P. Friend, farewell David Cassidy. For some of us that travel the broad highway, it's just like that sometimes. May you rest in peace, brother," tweeted Lol Tolhurst, founding member of The Cure. "My thoughts and prayers are with the family and loved ones of David Cassidy." Disco-era singing star Gloria Gaynor tweeted on Tuesday, "He was part of AL legacy via his role as Keith Partridge that brought in laughter into the homes of millions," she tweeted. Filmmaker Kevin Smith tweeted, "I grew up in an era before even cable TV, when the Partridge Family was already in reruns. David Cassidy is seen with his son, Beau Cassidy left, and then wife Sue Schifrin in Las Vegas in 1998. David Cassidy's Keith was one of my favorite TV characters. He was legit funny and he could sing. The man entertained me during my childhood and even years later. So sad to hear about David Cassidy." 1980s era rocker Richard Marx tweeted, "Met him at a gig about 10 years ago and he was incredibly warm and gracious. RIP." Former TV star Tom Arnold tweeted, "RIP David Cassidy, who my age did not want to look like just be him when they were young. I was lucky to get to know the sweet, very funny real David. As an adult I still wanted to be him. You were so sweet to me and you left us too soon." Oscar-winning actress Marlee Matlin tweeted, "To me and millions of us you were forever young. RIP, my heart is hurting." Tweeted actress Alexa Vega, "You were an amazing TV daddy, proud and honored to have worked with one of the best. Love and prayers." Cassidy and his Partridge Family co-star Shirley Jones perform at the first annual TV Land Awards in Hollywood in March 2003. "Heartbroken over the passing of David Cassidy," tweeted Marie Osmond. "He graced the covers of teen magazines with my brothers in the 70s. My condolences to his family. My first crush was David Cassidy." Daily Show co-creator Liz Winstead tweeted, "RIP David Cassidy, the man who made me feel a certain way I could not explain, and felt I should ask my mom about. So very sad to hear of David Cassidy passing away." Tweeted actress Maureen McCormick. McCormick played Marcia Brady on the hit 1970s TV sitcom The Brady Bunch. "He was always so kind and sweet to me. Our shows were both on Friday nights and deep down I dreamt of being a partridge. His memory and love will live on in my heart forever. Love you, David. Prayers to his family." Over the weekend, Cassidy's family revealed he was near the end after being placed in an induced coma. The 67-year-old Partridge Family star and singer was rushed to hospital in Florida 3 days ago. A source told TMZ that his condition was grim and his doctors were desperately seeking a kidney transplant. "There's really no issue anymore for a transplant. It's futile," a source close to the family said. Doctors have reportedly summoned Cassidy's son and ex-wife back to the hospital for what could be their final farewells. Cassidy had been in failing health for the last 2 months. In February, the star revealed he was battling dementia after he fell on stage during a concert in Los Angeles. His mother, actress Evelyn Ward, and his grandfather also had the condition. Cassidy is widely known for his starring role as Keith Partridge Center. Back on the 1970s series The Partridge Family, the star was rushed to hospital in Florida 3 days ago. The actor is pictured above as Keith Partridge in the mid-1970s. Fans were concerned for his well-being when he struggled through the gig in February. He stumbled on stage and forgot some of his words, prompting fears he had started drinking again. He told People magazine after the gig, "I was in denial, but a part of me always knew this was coming." Ward struggled with dementia until her death at 89 in 2012. "In the end, the only way I knew she recognized me is with one single tear that would drop from her eye every time I walked into the room. I feared I would end up that way," Cassidy said. Fans were concerned for his well-being when he struggled through the gig in February. Fans were concerned for his well-being when he struggled through the gig in February. In February, the actor revealed he was battling dementia. His mother and his grandfather also had the condition. He is pictured during one of his last stage performances in March. Cassidy, top right, is pictured with the rest of the cast of The Partridge Family in 1970. "I want to focus on what I am, who I am and how I've been without any distractions," he added. "I want to love. I want to enjoy life." Video emerged of the one-time teen heartthrob over the that showed him slurring, taking long breaks, telling rambling stories and even falling over at one point. He told the audience he will no longer be touring. While he vowed to make the show his last, he struggled to stay on his feet and play the guitar. Issues in Cassidy's personal life have been well documented over the last few years. He has filed for bankruptcy, divorced from third wife Sue Schifrin, has had multiple arrests, eye surgeries and went through a stint in rehab. At the end of February, he sat down with Dr. Phil to discuss his diagnosis. Dr. Phil told the singer that it appeared as though there were times that Cassidy was losing his place during the concert, to which Cassidy agreed. "And then you said at one point, I can tell you're not gonna listen, so I'm just gonna leave, and you did slip off the stage at one point. Drive," Phil said. Cassidy replied, "Not really slipped. No, but Dr. Phil told the singer, well, you slipped on the stage. If you noticed, I'm one of the few people who still have monitors in front," Cassidy stated, before Drive. Phil said the monitors are in place of using an earpiece. The Ian added, "And when you have spotlight in your eyes and you have 5 eyes surgeries as I've had. And I've talked a lot about it. Yeah, I'll see me there. I tripped on that. But I certainly wasn't intoxicated, and it has nothing to do with why I'm leaving. Certainly my dementia has contributed to the reason why I don't want to go out and I don't want to hear. Well, he looked like he was drunk, or he looked like he was wasn't. As a singer, Cassidy, pictured circa 1970, has sold more than 25 million albums. Cassidy, pictured in London in 1972, rose to fame on television, but quickly became a worldwide symbol. Cassidy's comments followed videos taken by fans of the singer struggling to remember words to some of his old hits at small venue concerts in Southern California earlier this month. At one point, he appeared to fall off the side of a small stage before climbing back up. Cassidy, whose hits Cherish and I Think I Love You had teenage girls swooning in the 1970s, has struggled with drinking and financial troubles in recent years. In 2015, he had to auction his Florida home after a bankruptcy filing. He was arrested 3 times for drunken driving between 2010 and 2014, and was ordered to rehab as part of his sentence in 2014. Cassidy appeared in several stage shows after his career as a solo singer declined. He played an aging former teen heartthrob in the short-lived 2009 TV comedy Ruby the Rockets, and was a member of the Celebrity Apprentice reality TV show in 2011. Cassidy has now said he is struggling with the memory loss disease and revealed his mother and his grandfather also had the condition. Cassidy shared what he told his son, 26-year-old Bo Cassidy, about not wanting to succumb to the disease as his mother did. "I want you to promise me you'll find a way to let me go and don't let me live like that," the entertainer told Drive. Phil of what he said to Bo. The singer, who has sold over 25 million albums, also shared the moment he realized he needed to see a doctor due to him experiencing his first symptoms of the brain disease. "When friends of yours or family members begin to say to you, 'Remember I just told you this 2 days ago,' and there's no memory of it, that's when I began to be very concerned," Cassidy teary said. Dr. Phil then asked if that's what caused him to go and get checked out by a doctor. "Oh my God, yes," Cassidy replied. The actor said he was diagnosed about 2.5 years ago. During the interview set to air Wednesday, Cassidy also discusses his current relationship with his family and his fear of being a burden to them. His mother, the actress Evelyn Ward, struggled with dementia until her death at 89 in 2012. David Cassidy is a retired actor and best known for his role as Keith Partridge in the 1970s sitcom The Partridge Family. David Cassidy is a retired actor and best known for his role as Keith Partridge in the 1970s sitcom The Partridge Family. The 67-year-old was born in New York City to the singer and actor Jack Cassidy and actress Evelyn Ward, but because of his parents' fame, he spent his childhood being raised by his grandparents in West Orange, New Jersey. He had so little contact with his parents, in fact, that he had to find out from a neighbor in 1956 that the couple had been divorced for more than 2 years, but never told him. Jack Cassidy later that year remarried singer and actress Shirley Jones, and later David's 3 brothers were born: Sean in 1958, Patrick in 1962 and Ryan in 1955. He moved in with that half of the family in 1968, once had received his high school diploma and worked a part-time job while he tried to break into show business. Within a year he had signed with Universal Studios and moved to Los Angeles after appearing on Broadway in 1969. He starred in the show The Fig Leaves Are Falling, which closed after 4 shows, but a casting director who saw the show liked Cassidy, and asked him to do a screen test. He then played a series of small roles in shows such as Ironside, Adam 12 and Bonanza before taking his first lead role as Keith Partridge. Partridge signed with Universal Studios and moved to Los Angeles in 1969. After playing a series of small roles, he eventually landed his first major job as Keith Partridge, pictured. Eventually he convinced the producer to allow him to be the lead vocal for the sitcom. He later broke out and started working on solo albums. Cherish was his first single, and it reached number 9 in the United States, number 2 in the UK and number 1 in Australia and New Zealand. In the show, his mother, Shirley Partridge, was portrayed by his actual stepmother, Shirley Jones, though he was cast by producers who didn't care if he could sing. Shortly into production, he convinced them to make him lead singer for the series recordings. I Think I Love You became a quick hit, allowing Cassidy to break out and start working on solo albums. He produced his first single, Cherish, later that year, which reached number 9 in the United States, number 2 in the UK and number 1 in Australia and New Zealand. At the time he wanted to be a rock star, but eventually settled on Teen Idol. In 1972, Cassidy sold out 2 56,000-person shows at the Houston Astrodome in Texas, and sold out Madison Square Garden in one day, causing riots. In 1974 he stopped touring and acting in The Partridge Family and decided to concentrate on recording and writing. He released 3 well-received solo albums with RCA in 1975 and 1976. Despite being successful and highly paid, in 1980 he admitted to being broke, and he took small roles here and there in Broadway productions and television shows for a number of years. Years later, in 2011, he was a contestant on The Celebrity Apprentice, and was the first to be fired. Since then he's had a regular touring schedule, appearing in concerts across the US and UK.